Welcome to Ring the Damn Bell. I am KG, and of course, we have my co-host, the wrestling enthusiast, Mark Slayton. What's going on, bud?
Not much, brother. Not much.
Cool. Tonight, we're going to be doing a recap of WrestleDream. What do you think about the pay-per-view last night, Mark?
You know, overall, I'd probably give it a solid B.
That's exactly what I gave it last night when I was talking a little bit about a solid B. We started off the show, Jay White against Hangman Adam Page. This was a pretty good matchup. Ultimately, Jay White defeated Hangman Adam Page. The big question is this the end of that short feud, or are they going to continue the storyline between these two?
You know, I don't know. I think Adam Page has a hard time letting things go, so I don't think it's the end.
You know, normally I would agree with you, and it's not that I disagree with you. My thing is because it's AEW, I don't know, and that's the problem. Tony Khan, he will. There's no rhyme or reason for some of the shit that he does, and a few that you think will continue, it'll just be done with. Yeah. Right? And the opposite side of it, feuds that you think is over with, he will continue. So I don't know. If this feud does go on a little bit longer, I won't hate it because they did have a pretty good match last night. Next, we have the AEW Women's World Championship, Mariah May against Willow Nightingale. And real quick, let me go back. Jay White, surprisingly, I was surprised that he actually beat Hangman Adam Page. Was this a surprise for you?
Yeah, actually it was.
Yeah,
I beat him clean too, and there was nothing after the fact. Right. And I don't know if Juice was out there the whole time or not, but he was out there at the end because they walked.
Yeah, I know he was. Yeah, he was only out there at the end.
Okay, I was gonna say otherwise it was a clean match.
Yeah, it was. Now we can move on to the next match, the World's Women's Championship, Mariah May versus Willow Nightingale. The match was surprisingly good. I won't take away from the match. The problem is that I just don't care about either one of these individuals in this storyline. Was that?
You're not invested.
Right, not at all.
I think it was a match slapped together real quick in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe not even that. Maybe just a week. I can't remember. You know, but
yeah, it was actually after last week's, it was Title Tuesday, and Willow Nightingale won in the four-way match for the number one contender. So it was just put together real quick. And this is the type of stuff that I'm talking about that hurts Tony Khan, because you and I were talking last night, and we both agreed that AEW, their pay-per-views are always great. Always great matches. Where they fail at is the week-to-week shows with the storylines to get people to care about these pay-per-views and these matches.
Absolutely.
And I think that if this doesn't change, it's going to end up hurting AEW. It's already hurt AEW. We've seen the viewerships and the live crowds go down tremendously. But it's going to wind up being the end of AEW if Tony Khan doesn't correct this. So Mariah May, she keeps her title. She retains the title by beating Willow Nightingale. The next match was Jack Perry versus Shibata. And this is my problem with this. Jack Perry is just a natural babyface. I don't buy him as a heel. Never have, never will. He could grow his beard out all he wants. He is just a natural babyface. I like Jack Perry more when he was Jungle Boy, and I actually hated that gimmick because I'm not a gimmick type of a guy. But at least he fit in that role as that natural babyface. Do you buy Jack as this big badass heel?
I wouldn't say badass. I think that's an oxymoron. No, I don't buy him as a heel, but I think he's doing the best he can with it. I guess. You know, he's not intimidating. You know, I mean, to me, wrestlers should have some sort of intimidation, and Jack Perry doesn't carry that.
Right.
You know, he's got the ability, he's got the talent. I don't see him as a legitimate bad guy. You know, until he starts carrying brass knuckles or something, you know, and really starts doing some heelish stuff. You know, I just don't see it. You know.
Now, this is what I hate about this match. The match was good up to the very end. It was Mr. Wrestler who put Jack in this sleeper hold, basically, but got his own shoulders pinned.
Yep.
And this is what I hated about this. This is your own, one of your own finisher moves. You're supposed to be this expert at this particular move, but yet, you get yourself pinned.
You got to give him
terrible.
Credit. You got to give him credit for being creative, though, on how to pin him.
Yeah, I get it.
And pinning him, he didn't lose face because of the way he was pinned. You know,
right?
So I mean, that's a plus in that, I guess. But yeah, it's kind of a lame thought of, yeah, you got pinned, you know, putting on your submission hold. You know, weren't you paying attention? Oops, guess not.
Right. To me, it would have been better if Perry would have been able to somehow counter that submission hold. And they're calling this a counter, and it's not. This is just Mr. Wrestler being dumb. It would have been better if he was able to somehow counter the submission hold and roll up Mr. Wrestler, basically, and get the 1, 2, 3. That fine. But this finish, I mean, this finish got more of more boos, right, from the audience than what Jack Perry did when he came out to the ring.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that. Next, we go on to the AEW International Championship. Takeshita versus Will Ospreay versus Ricochet. This was a good match. I enjoyed it. And I was shocked at the finish. Of course, we've seen that, you know, Kyle Fletcher came in and turned on Will Ospreay. That I wasn't shocked about because I called it. What I was shocked about was that Will Ospreay actually dropped the title to Takeshita again. I know I'm butchering his last name. Takeshita. God, that's it. Takeshita. What do you think about this match? What do you think about the finish?
You know what? Kyle turning wasn't really a surprise. You know, I knew that was going to come eventually.
Yep.
It's a shame. I think Kyle Fletcher and Will are great together. But you know, I guess it creates a storyline. I also hope Will to go after the World Championship, which I think ultimately is his goal. And you know, was I surprised? Yeah. Takeshita, you know, hell of a talent. You know, I'm not going to sit there and say different. Hell of a talent.
Right. Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. I think he's great. I really do. And, you know, hate Don Callis all you want, but Takeshita, his career has really was really moved forward once he got with Don Callis. And he actually became a great heel with Don Callis. So I really like Takeshita. I prefer a heel Takeshita over a babyface Takeshita. But yeah, I mean, this was a great match. You know, Ricochet looked good out there, Ospreay looked good, and Takeshita looked good. And what I like about this finish, it kept Takeshita, or even elevated him as that heel that you want to hate. You got Cal Fletcher now, who was kind of lukewarm. You know, he was kind of babyface, but kind of not. This match put him clearly on the heel side of things. And because of him turning on Will Ospreay, that's really going to elevate him as a heel. It didn't make Ospreay look weak. And Ricochet was protected because it wasn't his shoulders pinned. Because, you know, if this was WWE, Ricochet would have taken he'd have been the guy pinned last night. So far, Ricochet's doing much better in AEW than what he was doing in WWE. Next, we go, and the next match was way too long. It was a hologram against the Beast Mortis. Hologram defeated by pinfall Mortis, and it was the best of 3 falls. The match was good. I'm not going to say that it was a bad match because the match was good, but they could have ended it with just 1 pinfall. It didn't need to go to the time that it was at. This match was way too long.
Yep, absolutely.
Like I said, go ahead.
It was a good match, and his opponent was Mortis. You know,
yep.
Surprisingly for a big man, he's
good.
Yeah, he's good. You know, I don't like his gimmick, but whatever.
Right.
But he's far better than I gave him credit for in the past. Now, I was surprised to see Jake wasn't out bringing him out because I think Jake in that trade, you know, because to me, adding Jake to anything is only adding
right.
the product, you know. So the fact that Jake didn't come out, I was disappointed.
Yeah, I think that Jake would have come out, then Mortis would have gotten more heat at that point, which is good. It's a good thing. He's the heel. He wants to have as much heat as possible. But the audience seemed to like this match. And again, it was a good match. I just think it went on way too long. Now, one thing that I have an issue with, and I know that you really don't, we talked about it last night, was the fact that Tony Schiavone at the end of the match still said the hologram was undefeated. I disagree. Yes, he won the match, but Mortis did pin him for 1 fall. To me, I get it. He won the match, but his shoulders has been pinned.
It's semantics. You know, yeah, I see you're going, and I understand that, but it's semantics. You know,
semantics matter in professional wrestling.
Right, but you know, in the books, it goes down to the win, not a loss.
Right. So. Right. Now, this next match, Darby Allin versus Brody King. Darby Allin got the win. There was a lot of crazy spots in this match. And Darby Allin isn't going to make it to the age of 40. And if he does, he's going to be crippled.
Yep.
I mean, this guy just does some crazy shit. And I get that the fans goes nuts. Hell, I actually, pop for a lot of his shit. But it doesn't take away from the fact that a lot of the things, the spots that he does, just, it leaves me mortified at times, like waiting for something to go wrong, and we see him become crippled.
Yep,
in the match.
A mishap.
Yeah.
A lot of his stuff is great to watch, but it's not necessary. And the guy is going to end up hurting himself, and he's going to hurt himself bad on a misstep.
Right. Right. And what's worse is if he ends up taking down another talent with him from one of those, from a mishap. Now we're talking about Mortis, how he, Mortis can move for a big guy. Brody King, who is much bigger than Mortis, that guy can move as well. He really impressed me. Now, the takeaway for me was at the end of the match when we seen Brody King walk up to Darby Allin and shake his hands. Do you think we witnessed a baby face turn right then and there?
Certainly. I think it all depends on where Aleister Black lands. Is he going back to WWE? Because we haven't seen Aleister in 3 weeks?
Yeah, it's been a while.
If Aleister goes back to WWE, which there's rumors, but there's always rumors. I can see Brody possibly, looking out for Darby Allin, being a silent backup or whatever you want to call it. But then again, it ends up with, is Buddy Matthews going back to WWE too. So, I mean, if those two leave, then I can see Buddy, back in Allin. It was nice to see the sign of respect.
Right. I have to check, but I don't think that Buddy Matthews or Aleister Black's contract is up yet. So I'm not sure where they've been at, but I don't think that they're headed to WWE, back to WWE, at least yet, because I swear Buddy Matthews just resigned with AEW.
I think so too.
So I'm not sure. But yeah, it was a good match. I have issues with a smaller guy. We talk about this all the time, beating people like, Brody King, but it is what it is. Darby Allin, again, pinned Brody King. Next, we go to the World Tag Team Championship, the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson and Nicholas Jackson against Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy, and Mark Quinn. The Young Bucks, they won via pinfall. I was actually expecting Private Party to win this just because of their entrance, and then the Jack talking by the Young Bucks before the match. I'm like, okay, they're putting the titles on Private Party, but that didn't happen. Now I like the Young Bucks. It's Private Party that I'm okay with. You don't like the Young Bucks though.
No, I don't. I haven't been impressed with them since TNA when I probably first started watching them. They were fun and exciting back then. They were something different, out of the norm, I guess. But in AEW, they're not my flavor, I guess.
So now, what did you think about the match?
The match was good. I think Private Party put on a great performance. It was better than I expected. I really expected Private Party to win. I was kind of disappointed they didn't win. But I think even the crowd, really liked Private Party's performance last night. The Bucks are true to themselves about being heels. I'm not going to take that away. They are great heels. They are great heels.
Right.
But it's just not my flavor.
Now, I'll tell you, this was the biggest pop I've heard Private Party get by an audience in quite a while, actually. I know of the weekly programs, the crowd's kind of audience when it comes to them. But again, I think it's more about booking versus Private Party themselves. Tony Khan just doesn't give his talent, or all of his talent, the justice that they deserve when it comes to their week to week. The next match was the ROH World Championship title match. Mark Briscoe against Jericho, who he defeated. This was a match that I don't think either one of us really cared about. It's great seeing Mark Briscoe, especially after losing his brother and all, but at the same time, a feud with Chris Jericho. I just, at this stage in Jericho's career, he's lost me. I don't care about anything that he's in currently. I'm not saying that if he gets in a feud with the right person and Chris Jericho goes back to being, the lying heart or something like that. But with this gimmick that he's in, it's dumb, and I just don't care.
Chris is at the stage of his career where he's trying to elevate other talent, so I can see that. I think Chris physically looks worse than he's ever looked in his life. And you know what? He's 52, 54 years old. Mm-hmm. That's hard to maintain that, so I'm not going to discredit him. The fact that he can get in there and still produce a good match, and it was a good match.
Right.
I'll give him credit for that. I'm the same age as Chris. I'm nowhere near Chris's shape. I'm not even going to pretend to be close to Chris's shape. It was a good match. Again, the learning tree, it's kind of, it's meh.
It's not kinda. It's dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it with Big Bill. I like that he's working with the Bad Apple. I don't know if he's really going to elevate those two at all, but at least these two guys that should get airtime are getting airtime. I think Big Bill is a waste of a talent. You can't have a guy that big, not doing something productive. I'm sorry. That guy's built. He's big. So.
Yeah, I agree. you have a guy this size as basically an enhanced talent is all he is. And that blows my mind because he can go in the ring. It's not like he's terrible.
No,
So
no.
I'm not sure what the issue is.
Yeah. Going back, we missed something though, and I don't know if it was Will Ospreay's match or not. MJF came out.
Oh, that's right. That's right. MJF, yeah, we seen him for the first time in a few months. He came out and he did his thing. He trash talked everything, and then Garcia came out and basically he kicked Garcia's ass.
Yep.
And then after that, and this was the big thing, Adam Cole made his comeback to save Garcia. And I had a problem with this. And we talked about this last night, and it's the same thing I said for another return. Fucking stop bringing these guys back as baby faces when they leave as fucking heels. Jesus Christ. I am cool with Adam Cole being turned into a baby face, but fucking do it so the crowd could get invested in that fucking baby face turn. I mean, you're taking a storyline that MJF was the one that really was the reason why he got rid of Adam Cole, right? Because they had the storyline Adam Cole would betray MJF. Now, all of a sudden, for no rhyme or reason, roles are reversed. MJF, of course, he turned heel a few months ago, but Adam Cole is now coming back as the baby face. That just fucking annoys me. Go ahead.
Now, when watching Adam Cole last night, I didn't notice this, but it looked today when I saw a video.
He has a limp.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of a limp. I could be wrong, but I thought I saw a little bit of a limp. I sent to you. I don't know if you watched it or not, but it looked like
I watched it.
Looked like he had a little bit of a limp. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just the way he was running or whatever. Nonetheless, I like Adam Cole, whether he's a heel or a face. I like him. I think he's kind of a throwback to, maybe even the 70s. These guys weren't on steroids and whatnot. Because Adam Cole doesn't have to build to be on a steroid regimen. I think he's got all the talent. We called him HBK 2 last night. Is that a definite possibility? Yeah, it's a definite possibility. I think Adam Cole's got, a world of talent and skill. Now is there going to go anywhere with this feud? I don't know. I wish it would, because I think the two of them could put on a hell of a match.
Oh, absolutely. I don't hate these two being in a program or a storyline together. I think that they're both great on the mic. They're both great in the ring. My problem, though, is that him coming back as a babyface when he left as a heel. Shit. Even if it was him coming back for a night as a heel and then he turned babyface, I don't care. But I want to see that turn. I don't want him just to come back as, he woke up and seen the light and now all of a sudden he's this fucking babyface. Because Adam Cole is very much like KO in the fact that they always turn.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they're going to do with that. MJF hightailed it out the ring. I'm curious to see where they're going to go with this.
Now, this is, it overshadows the Daniel Garcia against MJF.
Right. Right. That's true.
And we've talked about this. I'm not a huge fan of these underweight guys. These guys that are 205 or whatever. And Daniel Garcia fits in that. But again, I like Daniel Garcia.
Yeah.
Sometimes their ability versus their size will get me to sway. All right. So there are a lot of guys I do like that are that 205 mark or whatever you want to call it. Daniel Garcia is one of them. Do I think he's on the mic? No, I don't think he's exceptional on the mic, but I think he's good, and I think he's come a long way from where he was.
Yeah, that's my problem with them putting Daniel Garcia, at least right now, against MJF. MJF will school him on the mic, and that's not a good look for a baby face to to look that bad, cutting a promo going against a heel. But I guess he has to start somewhere. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited that both MJF and Adam Copeland that they're back. The next match we go to is the main event: Jon Moxley against Bryan Danielson, and for most of the match, Daniel got his ass kicked. Now you and I were both, although I called it, I told you earlier tonight that I thought Danielson was going to lose. But saying it and witnessing it is two different things. We were both a little shocked about that. The big takeaway of this match was, and I knew something was going to happen when I seen Moxley take the belt. Claudio handed him that bag where he put the belt in his black gym bag, and then next Pac, Claudio, and Moxley started kicking the shit out of Danielson again. Wheeler Yuta came out for the save, and I called this one as well. He was with Darby Allin. Next he hits Darby Allin from the back, causing Darby Allin's arms to be duct taped to the ring. Now, what I didn't get was Wheeler Yuta still looked very disturbed by the fact that he was doing this, right?
Hesitant.
And that's a little confusing because it's like, so if you're that, tormented, why are you doing it? Type of a thing. They handed him the plastic bag, and then we seen AEW once again go into the storyline of trying to murder a professional wrestler. They put that plastic bag over his face, and next thing you know, all hell breaks loose. The locker room's empty. People came out to the ring, and it was pandemonium. BCC, they kind of, hauled ass at that point. Where do you think this is going? Now, we know that Danielson is retiring full time. They left it open by saying full time, which means that he's still going to be back part time. Do you think that we're going to see Danielson sooner than later? Where do you think this is going? Do you still think, well, I'm not sure if you thought this. I know a lot of the fans think that this is still the pathway to a Shane McMahon coming into AEW. What are your thoughts?
I think it's a great segue. If Shane is to go with AEW, and I don't know if there's been confirmation on this or not.
There has it.
There certainly are enough rumors, and we all know with rumors, there's some truth through the rumors. I think it's a great segue for him to come in and back Daniel Bryan. Maybe start another faction. I don't know. I definitely don't think Daniel could take on the BBC by himself. So he'll need some sort of backing, which could lead into some other people coming into the company to help Daniel. I don't know. But it's not the end. I think Daniel's going to get a rematch somewhere along the way. I think that'll be his swan song as far as, being done full time. That's what I think. So,
yeah.
I don't think it's the end. I don't think we're going to see Daniel for about 2-3 weeks, though. He's going to be out with quote unquote injury or recovery.
Right. What segment we did, Skip? Swerve Strickland.
I just remember that too.
Yep. Strickland came out with Prince Nana, and came out to a very warm welcome. Of course, that's his hometown. And we've seen MVP and Shelton Benjamin come out. Now, I tell you, the way they did this was great because you didn't quite know what Swerve was getting to because he was saying, on one hand, there's this, but on the other hand, there's also this. Ultimately, we heard him say, Nana's family. I never turn on family. Shelton Benjamin said, well, wait, you think we're asking you? We're telling you you're either for us or you're against us. This set off almost a fight between the two. Things were broken up with them, so we didn't see any real action. I am excited about a potential match between Benjamin Shelton and Swerve Strickland. I think that whatever pay-per-view this happens, if it happens on a pay-per-view, if it happens on a Dynamite, wherever it happens at, they're going to steal the show. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think Shelton Benjamin is sorely underrated. Sorely. I think he's in his mid to late 40s. He can still go. And he looks phenomenal. The guy doesn't even look his age. I mean, I'd peg him at maybe late 30s, but he's got 10 years on that.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the guys that should have been a world champion without a shadow of a doubt, because he's got all the skills. The only thing he really lacks is that mic skill. And, he's got a mouthpiece for him, so, as long as he's got a mouthpiece, he's fine, But I don't think his mic skills are horrible. I just don't think they're as refined as they could be.
Right. Well, I tell you, I think that we're going to eventually see Swerve Strickland with MVP because I was talking about how Jack Perry is a natural baby face. Swerve Strickland is a natural heel. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. I would dare to say that last night was the first time we've seen Swerve Strickland as a true babyface in the fact of how he was presenting himself when he was talking, because he's always been in that gray area. Even when he was supposed to be a heel, he's always been in that gray area that you question, where where he aligns at. And I like that about him. He's somewhat unique within AEW.
Yeah, but his name says it all. Swerve. He's going to swerve you somewhere along the way. It's in his name.
Yep.
You've seen it with Keith Lee and in the past, I think in NXT, So, yeah, he's going to swerve you somewhere along the way. And I thought last night might have been it, but I wasn't really expecting it.
Right.
I wasn't surprised if it was.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And that was basically the end of the show. I think that again, I give it a solid B. I do. It was a decent show. It was a good show. It was better than I was expecting it. Because based upon their go home show on Tuesday, I was torn if I was going to get this. I really was, and I'm glad I got it. AEW has to get better with their weekly shows because they haven't been that great. They've been lukewarm at best. They'll have a couple of good segments and then the rest of the shows are just shit. I hope that there's something that is planned for AEW. You were talking last night, actually, about Tony Khan hiring, I can't remember the guy's name, from WWE as part of the creative team. I just read this morning that he just left AEW.
Okay. I thought it was a woman, actually, but okay.
So, no, it was a guy. I can't remember his name. But it was reported that he's no longer with AEW. And this needs to happen. Look, Tony Khan last night, he got out. It was during 0 hour, but he got out to give homage to Antonio Inoki with his grandsons, and Khan made a fool of himself, and he made these two. I can only imagine how these two kids felt because he told the crowd to chant Inoki's, the chant the crowd used to say for him, and no one knew what it was, and it looked terrible. Tony Khan he needs to stay in the back. They don't need to put a mic in front of his face. He needs to stay in the fucking back. He needs to do what he was meant to do, and that's be a money guy. That's it. They need a good on-air character to be that mouthpiece. I know they have what's his name? He was a legend of TNA. Christopher
Daniels.
Yeah, Christopher Daniels. I don't think he's that great in this role. I don't. They need to find somebody that's going to be really good in this role. And who knows? Maybe Shane McMahon is coming to AEW. Maybe he's going to be in that role, but they need somebody that's going to be that on-screen character and believable. Yes.
And they don't
yes.
have that.
No, Tony Khan, he will never be a talent. He's terrible. He every time he puts a mic and he's on camera, he literally looks like someone stuck a finger up his ass, and his ass cheeks are clenched tight, and he has that fucking look on his face. I cringe for AEW when they put him in front of the cameras. He needs to stay in the back. But yeah, again, I give it a solid B. If anyone out there is, just trying to figure out if they want to go back and watch the playback of it and spend the money, I think it's worth it. Again, I give it a B, and you said you give it a B as well. So yeah, I mean, and that's pretty much the recap of WrestleDream. But do you have anything else to add?
No, I'm good. I think we covered everything. I feel bad we skipped over MJF and Swerve both, but we covered them. We got them. I think there's a lot of potential for a lot of good storylines, just whether they utilize them right.
Yeah.
I think you're right in a lot of their shows. Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. It just seems filler. Where if you're a true wrestling fan, you'll watch it. And I will, because I'm a sucker and I'm a true wrestling fan, but it's kind of like, it's kind of anticlimactic. The action's good, but, you kind of question, all right, what's so.
Right. And, look, the way WrestleDream went off the air last night with them putting Bryan Danielson on a gurney, and just the disgust and the disbelief in the looks of a lot of the talent there. He has the potential to make this a great storyline, right? I just don't have any faith in them anymore to do so.
Right.
So we'll see about that. Then, I want AEW to succeed. I do. I want them to become this mega company, not to put WWE out of business, but so that WWE and AEW can push one another to give a great product, right?
Yep.
It's always better when you have a competitor. Shit, I would love if TNA, AEW, and WWE was out there doing great business. We would get great shows. That's good for the fans and it's good for the talent, because now they actually have other choices, places to go to. But the path that Tony Khan is on right now, it's not going to happen unless shit changes. So.
Yep. But I think wrestling as a whole is thriving more now than it has in years.
Absolutely.
So, the other thing is, when AEW came on, they were automatically slated as like the second biggest company, and that was
right.
in the month they were in existence. That's a hard pill to take. That's kind of a slap in the face in the NWA and TNA. But because of the money Tony Khan brought to the table,
right.
Slated as number 2, and size wise, as far as talent, they're not that far behind WWE if they are at all.
Right.
I mean, you throw NXT in there, I think WWE still got them, but as far as talent, it's almost to the point where they have too much talent. I understand you want to rotate new people in and people that are leaving out, I understand that, but they've got too much talent and they don't utilize their talent in the shows that they have. They have 5 hours of TV time. That's a lot of time to expose a lot of talent.
Yep.
I mean, even if it's a poorly done, 8-man tag team, get some people out there, get some names out there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry, but the 8-way or 8 tag team with the women's match, what was it, Monday night or was it Friday
Yeah.
night? I remember. You know, but still got some names out there. You know, you still got to see some faces you don't normally see. You know, how often do you see Natalia? You know, I don't know, once a
Right.
month, if that. You know, so you know, get some names out there. Let these guys showcase their abilities. You know, develop some storylines. You know, but again, you know, storylines are hard to come by because, you know, you're throwing a pay per view every once a month. You know, you got 2 to 3 weeks to throw a storyline together. That's hard.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, we have a lot of wrestling right now. This is a great time to be a wrestling fan, but we have to keep these shows going. I don't understand the fans that are just WWE or just AEW, and they like to shit on one another regardless. It's like, if you don't like the product, don't fucking watch it, but stop trying to shit on everything out there that is not AEW or that is not WWE. Um, because you don't want these companies to go away. If you truly like professional wrestling, you want this shit to continue, not just for us, but for all the other the talent out there, and not just the guys that are with WWE or that's AEW. There's a lot of independent wrestlers out there as well that's on the scene, right? That, you know, they're the future, and you know, I want them to be able to have options of where that they could go to. So yeah, but people are who they are, and it's not going to change. But you know, again, I want AEW to succeed. I want TNA. I want NWA. I want WWE. I want the best for all of them because I like professional wrestling, and the more out there is to watch, the happier that I am. Tomorrow, I'm going to be speaking of independent wrestlers on the independent scene. I am going to be interviewing a gentleman by the name of Cameron Cox. He is on the independent scene. I encourage you to go YouTube him and watch some of his matches. He's pretty good. He's going to be on talking with me tomorrow about the independent scene and you know why he got into professional wrestling and where he hopes this career goes to. So I'm excited about this. But until then, Mark, great seeing you. Thank you for joining me last night, watching this pay-per-view. Please subscribe to our channel. Be watching us to be back on Monday night for a recap of Monday Night Raw. Until then, everyone have a great Sunday.
All right. Thanks, bud.